Chosen ones, listen carefully. This is not random, and it is not entertainment. You are guided here because the heavens decided you are ready to know the truth. Somewhere in secret, people who could not stand your light tried to weaponize the spiritual realm against you. They took your photograph, an image meant to capture only the surface of who you are, and they handed it to an angel as if it were evidence against you. They expected judgment. They expected condemnation. They expected a verdict that would mark the end of your destiny. But what the angel did when your essence entered his sight was so shocking, so terrifying, that it ripped the ground from under your enemy's feet. They thought they were delivering you to destruction, but instead, they exposed you to the highest authority of light, an authority that instantly recognized something inside you that no human could erase. And when you discover what that angel saw, when you understand the reaction that left your enemies trembling, your entire perception of your true identity in the spiritual dimensions will never be the same. This is the moment when illusions break. This is the moment when the veil lifts. This is the moment when you finally understand why your life has always felt like a battlefield, because heaven has always known exactly who you are. Do not miss a single second of this revelation, because what you are about to hear could change everything about the way you see yourself and the power that already surrounds you. Before we dive deeper, I need you to seal this moment. Hit the like button as a declaration of faith. Subscribe so you never miss what heaven is pouring into your life. And comment the number 99 below. Why 99? Because it is the symbol of divine completion and spiritual rescue. The reminder that even when 99 go astray, the shepherd never forgets the one. By writing it, you are confirming that you are the one chosen soul heaven refuses to lose. Behind the scenes, in places you were never meant to see, something dark was unfolding. People who smiled in your face but carried venom in their hearts gathered in whispers, convinced that they had discovered a strategy that no chosen one could survive. They were not content with ordinary lies or human sabotage. No, this time, they wanted confirmation from the heavens themselves. They believed that if they could place your image before a celestial authority, the angel would surely echo their accusations. They thought the angel would confirm their poisonous words. This soul is flawed. This one is unworthy. This one is dangerous. They wanted divine validation for the hatred they already nurtured against you. Imagine their confidence. They thought the plan was airtight. They believed that when the angel laid eyes on your photograph, every rumor they spread, every curse they whispered, would be sealed with heavenly approval. They did not understand that heaven does not bend to the bitterness of human hearts. They miscalculated in the most fatal way, because angels do not operate according to jealousy. They do not measure souls by human envy. They perceive frequencies, essences, and origins. They see what cannot be faked. And while your enemies looked at your life through the lens of gossip and resentment, the angel looked at your image and saw something they had never expected. The unmistakable mark of a soul chosen before the foundations of the earth. In that instant, their supposed weapon backfired. What they thought would expose you as weak, instead revealed you as untouchable. The very moment your photograph crossed into celestial sight, the plan they crafted so carefully began to collapse. And yet, they could not stop watching. Like conspirators gathered around a fire, they leaned in, waiting to hear their condemnation spoken aloud. They wanted the angel to confirm what their egos already decided. But instead of judgment, the atmosphere shifted. The angel's silence grew heavier than thunder. His gaze pierced beyond the image, beyond the surface, into the truth of your spiritual DNA. What he saw terrified your enemies more than any curse could, because it contradicted everything they believed about you. Understand this. Your enemies assumed the heavens would side with them. They were convinced that their perspective was the ultimate truth. They thought your life could be defined by their labels, by their insults, by their limited perception. But heaven cannot be manipulated. Celestial beings are not deceived by appearances. They see what has always been written in eternity. They recognize signatures. They respond to divine seals. And when your photograph entered their dimension, it revealed something that human minds cannot grasp. The plot was meant to condemn you, but instead it unlocked your recognition. It forced the angel to acknowledge you, not as a mistake, not as a threat to be removed, but as a carrier of rare authority. What they believed would end your influence only magnified it. What they meant as an ambush became your introduction to a higher level of protection. And the irony is this: by trying to destroy you through the heavens, they accidentally delivered you into the very place they feared the most. The direct presence of angelic authority that knows exactly who you are. The secret plot was supposed to be the end of your story. But chosen ones never end the way their enemies expect. And as the angel prepared to act, something happened that none of them were ready to witness. Something that shifted the entire battlefield in your favor and left them trembling in silence. The moment the angel's eyes fell upon your photograph, something happened that no human mind could have predicted. There was no pause, no deliberation, no weighing of accusations. In an instant, faster than a breath, quicker than the blink of an eye, the angel recognized something beyond the reach of earthly understanding. What your enemies expected to be exposed as weakness instead radiated as unmistakable authority. It was not recognition of a flawed soul. It was recognition of a seal, a signature stamped by higher dimensions long before you ever walked this earth. The atmosphere shifted. Imagine it, a silence so heavy that it crushed the air from the lungs of those who plotted against you. They leaned forward, waiting to hear the judgment they craved, but what they saw left them trembling. The angel did not accuse. The angel did not condemn. The angel did what no one in that room, no one in that conspiracy, had ever imagined possible. He bowed, not a polite nod, not a casual gesture, but a bow of reverence. A holy recognition reserved only for those who carry something so rare, so sacred, that even celestial beings cannot ignore it. In that single act, everything shifted. Your enemies had wanted validation, proof that their hatred was justified. Instead, they witnessed heaven itself, contradicting their narrative. They watched as the angel treated you not as a suspect under judgment, but as a commander whose rank had already been established in realms far above human understanding. Like a soldier saluting a general, like a subject kneeling before royalty, the angel's gesture announced one undeniable truth. You were never ordinary. You were never who they said you were. And in that moment, the fear in their eyes was not the fear of losing a battle. It was the terror of realizing they had declared war against a soul that heaven itself protects. They thought they were handing you over for destruction, but they had accidentally placed you in the center of divine recognition. What they believed would be your downfall turned into their exposure. For the first time, they understood that the power surrounding you is not a theory, not a rumor, but a reality strong enough to bend even angelic protocol. The angel's bow was not only reverence, it was declaration. It was the announcement that your identity cannot be erased, that your essence carries weight in dimensions where human envy holds no authority. And though the act lasted only seconds, its impact thundered through the hearts of your enemies like a storm. They knew instantly that they had triggered something irreversible. They had awakened a force far beyond their control, and the very ground beneath them felt unsafe. But what they did not realize yet is that the bow was only the beginning. What came next was not just recognition, it was activation. Something greater, more terrifying, and far more unstoppable was about to be unleashed, and they were standing too close to escape it. The bow of the angel was the shock that shattered your enemy's confidence, but what followed was something far more devastating for them and infinitely more powerful for you. Reverence was not the end, it was only the doorway. In the very next breath, the angel extended his authority, and a shield descended over your identity. Not the kind of protection anyone on Earth could imagine, not the fragile safety humans try to build with locks and walls, but a radiant, living force field of divine energy that wrapped itself around you like armor forged in eternity. This was not a casual blessing. This was maximum protection, activated instantly, automatically, permanently. Understand the weight of this. When an angel triggers such a shield, it means heaven has identified you as irreplaceable. Only those carrying missions that cannot fail are marked with this level of covering. It is a defense system that not only guards, it retaliates. Every scheme, every curse, every whisper of sabotage launched in your direction is now intercepted, scanned, and reflected back to its source with multiplied intensity. What was once a weapon pointed at you becomes evidence written in the archives of justice. And from that moment, your enemies were no longer standing against you alone. They were standing against a legal system of heaven that does not forget and cannot be bribed. Imagine their terror. They thought they had delivered you into condemnation, but instead, they accidentally submitted themselves for trial. The angel's shield became a mirror, exposing every hidden word they spoke, every plot they schemed in secret, every dagger they tried to drive into your back. Suddenly, their attacks transformed into signed confessions, filed in the heavenly record books for judgment. They realized too late that by trying to accuse you, they had handed their own names to the very forces they feared the most. And here is the mystery your enemies never saw coming. This shield does not simply block harm. It absorbs the energy of the attack, rewrites it, and sends it back multiplied. An insult hurled against you returns as confusion in their camp. A curse spoken in the dark rebounds as chaos in their plans. A trap dug for your feet collapses under their own. They entered into a dangerous transaction without understanding the cost, because heaven always defends its chosen, and heaven never loses a case. This protection is relentless. It does not sleep, it does not waver, it does not negotiate.
It hovers over you day and night, detecting threats long before they reach you, dismantling them at the root, and ensuring that the weight of the consequences falls squarely upon the originator. To the enemies who once mocked you as vulnerable, this shield became their nightmare, because it transformed every attempt to harm you into the fuel that built your fortress. But here is what makes it even more extraordinary. The angel was not finished. The shield was not the final act of protection.
It was the foundation for something even more terrifying to your enemies, something so unshakable that once it was set in motion, there was no turning back. And when this next stage activated, your adversaries realized they were not just dealing with protection. They were now facing divine retaliation that no power on earth could ever stop. The shield was raised, the record was sealed, and from that moment forward the battlefield shifted completely. Those who mocked you in secret, who sabotaged your steps, who whispered poison behind closed doors. Suddenly, their confidence began to dissolve. They started noticing strange disruptions around them, disturbances that could not be explained by chance or coincidence. Opportunities that seemed certain crumbled without warning. Projects they thought were secure collapsed overnight. Relationships they relied on fractured in ways they could not control. It was as if an invisible hand had reached into their lives and begun pulling apart the very things they depended on. At first, they searched for explanations. They blamed bad luck. They blamed timing. They blamed other people. But the pattern grew too sharp to deny. Confusion multiplied. Doors that had always opened for them slammed shut. Storms appeared in their lives without natural cause. Financial losses, personal betrayals, health crises, sudden chaos emerging from nowhere. Every attempt to move forward was met with an invisible wall, and the fear began to spread among them like a contagion. They did not want to admit it, but deep inside they knew this was not random. This was not ordinary. This was consequence. Because they touched what they should never have touched. They laid their hands, their words, their intentions against a chosen one, and in doing so, they violated a cosmic law older than time itself. They handed your identity to celestial authorities as if it were an accusation, and in that moment, every offense they ever committed against you was recorded in heavenly archives. Not as gossip, not as speculation, but as undeniable evidence. Evidence that does not fade, evidence that does not expire, evidence that demands a response. And that response is what they are experiencing now. Their fear is no longer human fear, it is spiritual dread. It is the bone-deep awareness that they trespassed against something holy, something protected, something far beyond their reach. They sense eyes watching them, not human eyes, but the gaze of justice. They feel the weight of consequences pressing down on their every move. Sleep leaves them. Peace abandons them. The same mouths that once spoke boldly against you now whisper in panic because they realize they have been marked. Not by you, but by heaven itself. This terror is not the fear of losing reputation. It is not the fear of embarrassment. It is the dread of standing on the wrong side of cosmic judgment. They remember the words they said about you, the traps they dug, the curses they muttered under their breath, and now every memory burns with the realization that those actions were not ignored. They were documented. They were multiplied. They were returned. And as each day passes, the evidence of their spiritual violation grows harder to deny. And yet, this is only the beginning of their unraveling, because what they are facing now is not the full weight of justice, but only the opening tremors of a greater reckoning that is still approaching. And when it finally arrives, they will understand that their greatest mistake was not conspiring against you. It was awakening a force they will never be able to silence. And you are no longer who you were yesterday. Something irreversible has been set into motion. From the instant the angel bowed and the shield descended, your essence was rewritten in the eyes of heaven and earth alike. You now walk as a fortress of light, a being cloaked in an energy so rare and radiant that nothing unclean can pierce it. The arrows that were once aimed at your heart now shatter before reaching you. Words spoken in malice dissolve before they can cling to your spirit. Curses that were meant to poison your destiny transform mid-air into blessings that water your path. You have become untouchable, not by pride, not by ego, but by decree. Every step you take is now marked by divine reinforcement. Where others see obstacles, doors swing open for you. Where others are overlooked, your name rises in rooms you never even entered. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is the manifestation of spiritual authority finally unveiled in your life. The recognition of heaven has unlocked a magnetism that attracts what is sacred and repels what is destructive. People who carry truth will be drawn to you without explanation, while those who carry deceit will find themselves unable to endure your presence. Your very atmosphere has changed. When you walk into a room, unseen forces rearrange themselves. Opportunities align, conversations shift, hearts open. And those who once dismissed you as insignificant begin to sense, though they may not fully understand it, that you carry a weight far beyond human influence. You are no longer simply surviving the battle. You have become the proof that chosen ones are not destroyed by warfare. They are refined by it, elevated by it, transformed into living testimonies of invincibility. But the rise of the untouchable chosen one is not only about protection, it is about expansion. You will notice that blessings do not arrive slowly anymore. They arrive suddenly, overwhelmingly, like rivers breaking through dams. Relationships that align with your purpose will appear as if summoned by divine command. Resources that once seemed impossible to reach will flow toward you because the shield around you not only deflects negativity, but also amplifies positivity. Every good intention, every prayer whispered in your favor, every act of kindness sown into your life is multiplied and returned with acceleration. Even your intuition has sharpened. You sense danger before it manifests. You discern truth before it is spoken. You feel the pull of destiny guiding you away from traps and toward paths prepared specifically for your mission. This is not ordinary awareness. It is the heightened perception of one who has been recognized by heaven and equipped with supernatural sensitivity. You are no longer a target. You are a beacon. And with each passing day, your life itself becomes a declaration. Chosen ones cannot be erased. They can only be exalted. This is why your enemies are unsettled. They see you rising when they expected you to fall. They hear of doors opening for you when they thought they had locked every gate. They watch your influence expand while their own plans collapse in silence. Their terror grows not because you fight them, but because you no longer need to. The fortress of light around you fights on your behalf. You are evidence that heaven does not waste its soldiers. You are the living reminder that every attack against you only serves to elevate you higher. But understand this: the rise has only begun. You stand now at the threshold of something even greater, a revelation so profound that it will not just protect your life but redefine it forever. And when this final unveiling comes, you will see with your own eyes why heaven bent its laws to shield you, and why the angel himself bowed in recognition of who you truly are. Chosen one, do you feel the fire burning within you right now? This is not imagination. This is not coincidence. This is your unveiling. Every attack, every whisper, every scheme that was meant to bury you has become the very force that crowned you. What they planned as your downfall has transformed into the seal of your invincibility. The heavens themselves bowed to your essence, and from this day forward, you walk clothed in a power that cannot be revoked, a protection that cannot be penetrated, a destiny that cannot be denied. You are no longer in hiding. You are no longer underestimated. You are no longer the shadow they tried to erase. You are the fortress of light that cannot be moved, the divine weapon that cannot be broken, the testimony that chosen ones do not fall. They rise. Every step you take now echoes in eternity. Every breath you breathe carries the sound of authority. Every moment of your existence is proof that heaven does not abandon its anointed. And now, you stand in a place of decision. Will you claim this identity, or let it pass you by? The angel already bowed. The shield already descended. The record has already been written. What remains is your declaration. Speak it now. Seal it in this very moment. I am divinely untouchable. Write it in the comments as a prophetic decree. Let it be recorded in heaven and witnessed on earth. When you declare it, you align your voice with the eternal voice that already called you chosen. Say it with fire. Say it with certainty. Say it like your destiny depends on it, because it does. And as you declare it, watch as your life begins to shift. Watch as doors open, as enemies scatter, as blessings chase you down. You are not surviving anymore. You are reigning. You are not defending anymore. You are commanding. You are not waiting anymore. You are rising. Chosen one, the world will never see you the same again. And after today, you will never see yourself the same again. This is your moment. This is your coronation. This is your eternal unveiling. Step into it boldly. Step into it fully. Step into it now. Comment it. Declare it. Live it. I am divinely untouchable.